We all know the OG Nautica Voyage, right? The $10 summer banger fragrance that has made it in hundreds and hundreds of videos across the fragrance community. This fragrance is an OG. This one's a legend. A lot of people love it for good reason. It's cheap and it works good. Now there are a few other flankers to Nautica Voyage. There's N83, there's Nautica Voyage Sport, there's a few others that I'm missing as well. However, I've just recently caught wind of the new Nautica Midnight Voyage. So this one currently is only available on Kohl's.com. $35 for the small 50 ml bottle. That's the only bottle size they have. And I'm going to be reviewing this one today. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to tell you how it smells, how it performs when you can wear it, and most importantly, how it compares to the OG, the classic, the cheapest, best men's summer fragrance for the most part. I mean, really, you can't beat Nautica Voyage for the $10 price point summer fragrance. It's just that good. And I'm going to see, well, how good is Nautica Midnight Voyage? Is it really a nighttime version of the original? Let's go and check it out. So I'm going to tell you how this, so let's go and start off with how this fragrance smells. Now, I'm going off of the note breakdown on Kohl's website, and they only have 3 notes listed. So I'm going to kind of work off of that. In the top, they have mint. In the mid, they have pink pepper. And in the base, they have amber. That's really all I'm getting here from Kohl's website. So I'm going to just kind of reference off that. What I get in the opening, to be honest, isn't really much mint. However, I do get a good amount of citrus. So if you're expecting a nice mint note, like for example, you get in Guerlain Homme Eau de Toilette, which is a great summer fragrance that utilizes mint, you don't get any of that here. Really, like I said, I personally don't pick up on much mint. Maybe it's there just a little bit, but I'm mostly getting citrus. And in terms of a pepperiness, I do get just a little bit of a peppery, spicy edge to it as well. So the opening starts off bright and citrusy, and what I get a ton of is Ambroxan. To my nose, I get quite a bit of an Ambroxan smell, like an ambergris, aquatic sea note type of smell from this fragrance. And judging by the look of the bottle here, seeing that it is even more blue than the original, yeah, you kind of can start to understand where Nautica was going with this fragrance. This is kind of their take on the blue Ambroxan fragrance, which, mind blown, I would have never expected another brand to make a fragrance that smells like these fragrances right here. Who would have thought? So yes, it does have a blue fragrance type of smell. A ton of Ambroxan from this fragrance I pick up to my nose. Kind of reminds me of Sauvage EDP, Prada Carbon, Aqua Atlantique, all of those types of fragrances almost kind of meshed into one. So is this something that you have smelled before? Yes, absolutely. Basically, everyone has smelled this fragrance DNA at some point, so this is nothing new. This is nothing groundbreaking here. Now, I honestly did have my hopes up because looking at the note breakdown from what 3 notes you get, it sounds kind of promising with that mint note there on the top. I thought it was going to be something kind of cool. Even though it is called Midnight, I was kind of expecting just a little bit of a different take on the original Nautica Voyage. But it really doesn't smell anything like the original Nautica Voyage at all. In terms of uniqueness, the original Nautica Voyage is way more unique, is way more different than this new release here. And honestly, like I've said before, the original Nautica Voyage is a beast. It's a fantastic scent for the price. I actually have a few videos planned that are going to be based on Nautica Voyage coming up here probably around springtime. So be looking forward to those. But the original, like I said, it's a great scent. You get this green apple, cucumber type of smell. Very, very fresh, very citrusy, and really very, very summery smelling. It smells like straight up summer, summer, summer. This one, like I said, gets you into that blue fragrance territory. And while it does smell like a summer fragrance, it just has, from that Ambroxan, a bit more of a warmth to it, and it just doesn't take the same route as the original one does. This one's blue, this one's fresh, this one's out of the shower. It's something that we've all smelled before, and is that disappointing? Yeah, I mean, it is. What can I say? At this point, we've smelled so many fragrances like this that it's really nothing to get excited about anymore. Is this something that I would necessarily recommend you pick up? Probably not, at least not right now. I mean, $35 for a 50 ml, that's pretty steep for a Nautica Voyage fragrance. Again, considering you can get the 100 ml OG for $10, $12, something like that. So it's pretty steep here in terms of how it ranks with the other Nautica fragrances. Would I recommend you go out and blind buy this one right now? I don't think it's worth it. You probably have a fragrance that smells pretty close to this in your collection already. Is that to say it's a bad fragrance? No, not at all. It smells pleasant. It smells nice. It is that fragrance DNA that we are familiar with, and it's a DNA that works. If you are wanting a compliment getting type of fragrance, you could go with this one and be pretty confident that you are going to get compliments and get positive feedback. But again, there are other fragrances out there like this. So the one upside I can see to this flanker right here is the fact that once this hits discounters, it's going to be dirt cheap. So right now, Dior Sauvage, it's going to be running you probably around $80, $90 for a 100 ml bottle. On discounters, somewhere around that range. Dior fragrances are kind of funny on discounters. They can go up and down. But let's just say 80, 90 bucks for Dior Sauvage, right? So that's one blue fragrance. You have Aqua Atlantique, one of my personal favorites. That's going to be running you $45, $50 for 100 ml on discounters. And then you have Prada Carbon. That one's going to be right around that $50 mark for 100 ml. Then even fragrances like Versace Dylan Blue, $45, $50 for 100 ml. So most of the blue fragrances that you hear talked about, the Ambroxan bomb fragrances, a lot of those are going to be in that mid to upper price bracket. This fragrance here, again, once it hits discounters, is going to be in that super, super low bargain bin price bracket. Like I said, it's hopefully going to fall down around to where the original Nautica Voyage is after a while. Again, $35 for 50 ml, that's pretty steep right now. But again, that is at retail. It is brand new. Once this is on discounters, you should be able to pick it up for quite a bit cheaper. And now you have a blue Ambroxan fragrance at a fraction of the price of some of the other fragrances. So again, am I hyping this fragrance up and saying it's, a good fragrance and it's a good release and it's worth picking up? Not necessarily, but what I am saying here, trying to be unbiased and look at it on both sides, this will be at some point a cheaper alternative for those of you who want to get into one of those blue fragrances but don't want to pay 80 bucks for Dior Sauvage. You don't want to pay 50 bucks for Aqua Atlantique, all of those other fragrances, Prada Carbon, so on. This is going to kind of get you into that category at a very, very cheap price eventually. But again, for me right now, it's very hard for me to recommend you to try this fragrance or go out and blind buy it at retail just because it is so similar to a lot of these other fragrances that we have smelled time and time again. So let's go ahead and talk about performance on my skin. Now, longevity, I've been getting on average 6 to 7 hours. So that's not awful. That's not bad. The original Nautica Voyage, I think I get around 7 or 8, somewhere around in that range. So, 6 to 7, maybe a little bit more depending on, my skin that day. That's not too bad. I don't know how it's going to perform in the summer. It might do a little bit better in terms of projection once we get some heat on it, which I will probably test this fragrance more in the summertime because, again, I do think it smells nice. I probably will wear it. It's just nothing that is groundbreaking. Now, in terms of projection, this one on my skin pushes out a moderate amount. It's not going to be a room-filling fragrance like, for example, I get from Sauvage and Aqua Atlantique. But it does make itself known. It is going to leave a little bit of a nice trail, and it will get outside of your scent bubble just enough for people to be able to smell you. So it is not a beast in any of the performance categories, which kind of is a bummer considering most of the other blue fragrances are pretty strong. Aqua Atlantique and Sauvage, two of the strongest fresh fragrances in my collection. This one doesn't quite fit into that group, but it is moderate performing. And again, the fact that this one at some point is going to be available for under $20 for 100 ml, that's not bad performance from this type of fragrance. I just wish that they would have made it super, super strong, like 12, 14 hours longevity and super strong projection just to make up for the fact that it is another generic release, but what can you do? So when can you wear Nautica Voyage Midnight or Nautica Midnight Voyage, whatever iteration you want to go with there? You can wear this fragrance for literally anything. I mean, spring, summer, fall, winter. It's going to work any situation, kind of dress down to somewhat dressed up. I wouldn't dress it up too much, but you can kind of push it a little bit. It's going to work for anything. This is best suited for summer, in my opinion. Spring and summer, the warmer months. That's kind of when these fragrances tend to do the best. but it can work all year round. So again, it's your easy to wear signature scent fragrance that can do just about anything. Basically, this is like a jack of all trades but master of none type of thing, just like all the other blue fragrances. They aren't really good at one specific thing. They're just kind of okay at everything else. Talking about compliments on this one's going to be a good compliment getter. Like I mentioned earlier, if that's what you're after, if that's all you care about, you want to build up a collection of these strong compliment getting fragrances, this is one that will do that. So you can add this to your arsenal of all of the other blue fragrances that kind of do the same thing. They're all going to be good compliment getters. You can rotate through all of them and kind of get something a little bit different each day and still have that DNA that's going to be mass pleasing. It's going to be a compliment magnet for sure, especially once you get some heat on it in the summer. Like I said, I'm looking forward to actually testing it here once it starts to warm up. And actually, coming up in about a week or so, we're going to start getting some warmer weather here where I live. Not like summer temperatures, obviously, but we're going to be getting up into the lower 50s or so. So we do have spring coming around the corner. And then following after that, of course, it's going to get blazing hot. So I'm looking forward to testing it once it heats up, but it is going to be a compliment beast. Now, one thing I do want to comment on is the quality of this fragrance. To be honest with you, this doesn't smell cheap. It really, really doesn't. And even the original Nautica Voyage, to me, doesn't smell cheap. It doesn't smell like a $10 fragrance. It smells pretty good in terms of quality, and this one is no exception either. It doesn't come across screechy or overly synthetic like you may think when you think of a cheap Nautica fragrance, and then you think of an Ambroxan-based fragrance. You're probably thinking like, holy crap, it's going to be super screechy and even more synthetic smelling than Sauvage. But honestly, it's really not that bad. The quality is pretty good, to be honest, for this fragrance. So that is one thing that I am pretty impressed about. You don't have to worry about wearing something that's going to smell like it's a $5 or $10 fragrance with this one, because it's not. It's not too bad. Am I saying it's niche quality or the quality of some of the other upper tier designer fragrances? No, but I am saying that it's better than what you think, and it may surprise you. So I'm going to go ahead and start to wrap this review up. My final thoughts on Nautica Midnight Voyage. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. At this point, we've smelled so many fragrances like this, so it's nothing that is going to shock you or anything like that. But at the end of the day, it does smell good. It does smell pleasant. It was designed to be a mass-pleasing compliment getter that's going to sell to the general public. It's not really designed to cater to us fragrance enthusiasts who want something different and unique. So that's one thing you always got to keep in mind here. At the end of the day, these companies are going to do what they have to do to market to the general public, the normal people who wear cologne, I guess is a good way of putting it, because to be honest, they outnumber us. They outnumber us fragrance enthusiasts. These people are going to be walking into these department stores and they're going to pick this up and they're going to smell it and they're going to be like, wow, that smells incredible. And they're going to buy it. And that's kind of what they're aiming for here. So, can't knock them for that. Nothing new or exciting for us. I would say for most of you guys out there, just pass this one, move on. Stick with the OG Nautica Voyage because that scent is fantastic. I don't have too much experience with any of the other flankers like Sport and 83, but like I said, I've got some Nautica Voyage videos coming up here in the springtime, so be looking forward to those because I know I am. That's my take on Nautica Midnight Voyage. If you've tried this one, let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Make sure you let me know. And then, of course, I will link to this fragrance and all the other fragrances that I talked about in this video in the description below, along with some of my other favorite scents out there, so you can check out all that stuff. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you get subscribed. That's going to do it for me, guys. I'll see you tomorrow night with another one. Take care.